going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Download Veely now.
Coming up on Dream of Italy.
You're making magic.
We visit the heel of Italy's boot, Puglia, where gargantuan olive trees and magical stone houses dot the landscape. I'm Kathy McCabe. In this series, we'll meet the authentic characters, uncover the hidden treasures, and discover what makes Italy the most fascinating country in the world. Join me as we dream of Italy. Puglia, a land of stone walls, gargantuan gnarled olive trees, and bizarre cone-shaped stone houses. With 500 miles of coastline, Puglia is also intimately linked to the sea, both its bountiful riches and its dangers. Throughout history, its wide-open coastline has brought unwanted visitors in the form of invaders who have left their mark on the rich culture here. I start my visit to Puglia in the Salento, the heel of Italy's boot. The Salento is a place filled with unexpected treasures, and one of those is the captivating Baroque city of Lecce, known as the Florence of the South. I'm lucky to get a very special tour of the city with local resident Tonino Benincasa in his 1935 Morris Model 8.
Allora qui siamo nel cuore di Lecce, piazza Santo Ronzo, eccolo lì il santo. Lecce è famoso nel mondo per il barocco. Può darsi che ci sia un collegamento per la gentilezza, per l'eleganza, non solo dei monumenti leccesi.
Puglia's history of invasion has echoes everywhere.
Anche perché tieni presente che noi siamo il frutto di un miscuglio di razze che non finisce più, perché essendo una lingua di terra in mezzo al mare, il Salento, no? Tutti quanti sbarcavano qui. Quindi sbarcavano, depredavano, rapivano, andavano via oppure si stabilivano qui, quindi le razze si incrociavano. Tu trovi qui il biondo con gli occhi azzurri o trovi quello piuttosto scuro di carnagione, capelli crespi. Ecco, quando giri per Lecce, nei dintorni di Lecce, c'è un senso di calma, di pace, di tranquillità, questo intendo per sonnolenza. Questo è un ex alunno, per esempio. Ciao, non posso salutarti, alla prossima. È tutto tranquillo, nessuno va di corsa, tutti quanti vanno a ritmi blandi, forse per apprezzare al massimo le bellezze di questa città e anche il clima.
Driving around, it's hard not to notice something remarkable about Lecce. The historic center is constructed almost entirely from the same material, known as Lecce stone, or pietra leccese. Lecce stone is a local limestone, and lends itself to use as both a structural and decorative material. And although the city's history dates back to Roman times, Lecce's city center was largely constructed in a 100-year burst of activity by its Spanish rulers in the mid-17th century. As Tonino points out, there is a peacefulness to Lecce, a quiet, calm quality that you don't expect in a city. But as the day changes to night, Lecce is transformed into an open-air party. Every weekend throughout the year, the Leccese flock to the historic center and engage in one of the grandest passeggiatas in all of Italy. The passeggiata is the nightly stroll most Italians take, usually before and sometimes after dinner. But here in Lecce, it is an obsession, with the entire city, young and old, coming out. And in the midst of this mad rush of people, I find the workshop of the Riso brothers, masters in the art of paper maché. Paper maché was introduced to Italy from Spain in the late 17th century. It had a practical purpose, to create lightweight icons for Italy's sometimes days-long religious processions. After all, carrying marble or bronze statues is hard work. The Riso brothers make small versions of these traditional religious icons, but they are also well known for their depictions of peasant life.
Fra questi, il soggetto che adesso è diventato più famoso è la ballerina di pizzica, la danza popolare salentina, famosa anche come taranta.
Giuseppe starts the process with a wire skeleton and a body made of straw.
Si cerca di stringere il più possibile la paglia al ferro e rendere la statua più stabile possibile.
Giuseppe adds the terracotta head, hands, and feet, handcrafted by his brother Claudio.
Testa, mani e piedi sono sempre modellati da noi, alcune parti sono abbozzate con il calco, però come stavo facendo adesso sono rifinite, riprese, rimodellate. Il calco serve solamente come base, perché non esistono mai due teste una uguale all'altra.
From beginning to end, a figure can take as long as 15 days to make, as work must stop and start to allow for drying.
Poi vengono imbevuti questi fogli di carta e si danno degli strati sulla paglia per consolidare la struttura.
Giuseppe crafts the clothing for the peasants.
Questa è la fase del vestito, che è quella più appariscente, cioè quella che decide l'impostazione, quello che poi diventerà finale la statua. In questo caso sarà una coppietta di anziani sotto braccio, che a Lecce anche si usa come anniversario di nozze, ai 50 anni di matrimonio.
In the final step, Brother Sandro delicately paints the fine, lifelike features.
Beh, in effetti la statua religiosa deve rispettare alcuni canoni, che sono quelli già ordinati dalla storia, dall'arte, in questo caso i colori, per esempio. Questi sono colori quasi obbligatori, quella della Madonna, che è l'azzurro, il rosa o il blu per il San Giuseppe.
The brothers' passion and attention to detail attracts visitors from all over the world who want to take home a very special piece of history from Lecce.
Ovviamente nel corso dei secoli, con l'abilità e col perfezionarsi di alcuni artigiani, è diventato un artigianato di prestigio.
Lecce is a beautiful city, but I am eager to leave the crowds and big buildings and go into the countryside, Il Paese, and travel even deeper into the Salento. In the past, traditional rural life in Puglia centered around the masseria. These fortified farming estates once operated as small villages, where the landowner lived in the main house and the farm workers stayed in the surrounding buildings. Today, most of them have been converted to guest houses and B&Bs, and they are a perfect place to dive deep into rustic Pugliese cuisine. At the Masseria Provenzani, my friend Yelenia Sambati introduces me to Mama Giulia. Mama Giulia is going to teach me how to make orecchiette, cimede rape.
Very famous and traditional Puglia recipes. You cannot say that you have been to Puglia unless you have tasted taralli and orecchiette. Orecchiette means like little ear, actually. In making this pasta, we don't use eggs, so it's just flour, water, and pinch of salt.
Okay, so let's get started.
Vai, Mamma Giulia, siamo pronti.
The recipe is simple,
Here's the
but the
flour.
technique is more challenging.
Big Balkan cratere.
We create a crater of flour and add a pinch of salt.
And then we pour the water in just
Yes.
to cover the bottom.
Yes.
Ah!
So we make sure that
Mine is escaping.
The pasta is kneaded to create the right density and texture.
I need help. I see. Make it thinner. Deve essere rotondo. Okay, not bad.
When the pasta is ready, it's rolled out and cut, and the orecchiette shape is formed.
Ci toglie.
oblique knife and you roll it until the end of the dough You roll until the end of the dough. Okay.
And now what do I do?
You reverse your knife and you put the teeth of the knife in front of you.
Okay.
Yes. And then finger and palm.
Ah.
Ma guarda che brava, Katy.
Hai visto? Not too bad.
Dai.
Once the shapes are made and left to rest, Mama Giulia shows me how to make the sauce. These greens are the cime di rape, similar to what we call broccoli rabe.
Starting from October until April, you have plenty of rape and cime di rape. I think it is the vegetable we eat most.
Meanwhile, whole unpeeled garlic and hot peppers are sautéed in olive oil.
So as you can see, Mama Giulia is not chopping the garlic.
She's just putting it in
because we say that the garlic has a very aggressive taste. Just garlic this way and pepperoncino.
After the cime di rape is cooked for about 5 minutes,
With your hands.
the orecchiette are put in the same water.
So how does she know when it is ready?
It's all on top, like the gnocchi.
Ah, starting to
Ci
come up.
siamo quasi, almost there.
The orecchiette and cime di rape are combined with the garlic and peppers.
I feel it.
We are making magic.
Pasta water is added to make a sauce.
So now we make them mantecate, which means that we make sure that they are well blended with the sauce.
So let it cook in its own juices.
Okay.
Where's the fork?
Dov'è la forchetta, Giulia?
Dove?
La forchetta!
It's so good. It's perfect.
L'aglio non si sente molto e rimane un sapore delicato.
No, Giulia says not too much garlic, right?
No, you get just a hint of it, just enough of it. We're all using the same fork because we're good friends now.
Actually,
Buono.
Buona.
peperoncino è perfetto.
I think I'll have some more.
And that is a taste of Puglia, made with a mama's love.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito.
If there's one thing Puglia is known for around the world, it is the trulli. The distinctive whitewashed cone-shaped houses that dot the landscape of the Itria Valley. And the greatest concentration of trulli are in the small town of Alberobello, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Native son Mimo Palmisiano grew up in these exotic houses and is an expert on their history and architecture. So where did these unusual structures originate, and why are they here?
The oldest cone-shaped houses on the planet are on the border between Turkey and Syria. 1,000 years before Christ, they were already building cone-shaped construction in Turkey. Why here in Italy? Now we have the same technique. Between 1000 and 1480, for almost 5 centuries, Turkish people, through the Mediterranean Sea, trying to invade Italy.
When the invading Turks, also known as the Ottomans, lost their battles, they could not return home in defeat. So they offered to work for the local ruling nobles in exchange for safe harbor.
Give me a chance, don't kill me. Let me build a shelter for myself on the border of your properties. We can even become your private army.
Granted land in exchange for their services, the Ottoman soldiers built cone-shaped homes like the ones from their homeland, and those became the model for the trulli. While at first glance all trulli look the same, there are features that are unique to each one. At the top of the cone is a shape known as the pinnacolo that is actually the signature of the builder of that trullo. And the symbols on the roof are painted by the family inside to give thanks for a good harvest or good weather.
People saying thank you to God, people saying thank you to nature. There are some pagan symbols, some Christian symbols, some magic symbol.
The symbols are repainted often, sometimes every year.
You're creative, you want to invent a symbol, you can paint on your house whatever you want.
Mimo takes me inside and explains how people used to live in these houses.
Now we are in a trullo. Stable, living room, fireplace and kitchen is the same thing because people were cooking on fire. Hot air from fireplace goes up, dries food and smokes food. Let's see the children's room.
There's a little window.
There's a little window because there were children sleeping in the cone. In this cone you can sleep. There's no flames, no smoke. You don't die there. Thank you.
I leave the hauntingly beautiful Trulli of Alberobello and head to the coast, to the former fortress of Monopoli. Local resident and former professional cyclist Antonello Losito shows me around this gem of a town.
Here she is. Hello, Cathy. How are you?
Antonello!
Nice meeting you.
Ciao. Nice to see you.
Founded by the Romans as an access point to the eastern Mediterranean, Monopoli's strategic location also made it a jumping-off point for the Crusades. When the Ottomans returned the favor hundreds of years later, Monopoli found itself under attack.
Was there a lot of fighting here?
Oh, of course. You know,
A lot of invaders. You're right on the
you can
coast.
understand. I guess the destination region, the Puglia has been invaded pretty much by anyone,
Yes.
and
It's much more peaceful now, though, right?
I guess it is. Yes.
Today, Monopoli's lovely harbor is home to the typical fishing boats of the area, known as gozzi.
Look at this! Surprise, surprise! This is the little harbor with some of the remaining fishermen boats, and I guess it's one of the most picturesque corners in the whole of Puglia, really. And of course, you can filter that. These are the words of a local, but I really think it's spectacular. So
This is where the fishermen
yes,
come
yes.
in.
You got more spots around here, but this is really the nicest part because you got a little bit of the small ones and the big ones and all together. And but you can still go to the harbor and meet these fishermen and get some
Buy it
fish
fresh.
just right from there. Sometimes I don't realize how lovely that is,
Yes,
and
you
I
don't
feel
have that
particularly lucky.
everywhere.
So
You don't have that everywhere.
let me show you around.
Antonello has one more facet of Monopoly to show me.
Here we go.
The workshop of retired fisherman Ignazio Modio.
Hello, hello. Ciao Ignazio.
Ciao, ciao. Io sono monopolitana a tutti gli effetti. Sono io di Monopoli, mio padre è di Monopoli, mia madre è di Monopoli, tutti monopolitani e ne sono orgoglioso.
After a life on the water, Ignazio couldn't bear to be away from his beloved boats. So he started building models of them.
In genere farò 34-35 barche al mese e non di più, perché per fare una barca richiede molto tempo, anche perché è tutta a mano. Così come il corpo umano è una barchetta, è uguale al corpo umano, c'ha le costole, la spina dorsale, i remi che sono le barche, sono le gambe.
The boats are often painted bright colors for practical reasons.
Questa qui l'ho dato il rosso qui, anche rosso di sopra, perché abitualmente la capitaneria di porto dicono a noi pescatori, ai pescatori, che ci deve essere il rosso, perché quando c'è una mareggiata il mare diventa bianco e allora loro riescono a vedere la barca se c'è da naufragarla o meno.
Ignazio welcomes visitors to his workshop throughout the day.
C'è sempre qualcuno che va lì per chiacchierare. Comunque, non si vive di solo pane sulla terra, ma anche di soddisfazione. E quindi ho creato queste barchette qua che a me mi danno tanta gioia e tanta soddisfazione, indipendentemente se guadagno o non guadagno, non mi interessa soltanto la gioia che tante persone si fermano a guardarle. Grazie. Di niente, grazie a lei.
Grazie per tutto. Sì, certo.
For my final stop in Puglia, I returned to the Salento for a visit to the small town of Squinzano. Like any Italian town, the heart of life in Squinzano is the main piazza. And I am here to get a taste of one of the great treasures of southern Italy, the dance known as the pizzica. Also called the tarantella in other parts of Italy, it has roots going back thousands of years.
Questa pizzica, insomma, è il nostro ballo che più ci rappresenta e che veniva ballato dai nonni e dei nostri nonni, quindi è un ballo molto molto vecchio.
The pizzica has served many functions over the years, but like most country dances, it is primarily a social occasion.
Questo ballo nasce come forma ludica ricreativa, ci si divertiva con questo ballo. Però è anche vero che non c'erano gli svaghi, ma non c'erano neanche molti modi per cui un uomo e una donna potessero incontrarsi. Ci stavano dei segnali legati agli occhi o comunque al fazzoletto dove un uomo e una donna avevano la possibilità di comunicare e quindi di far iniziare una relazione.
After a little dancing in the square, I get an offer I can't refuse.
Katia, si può fare un giro con la mia?
Ma dove?
All'Utappino, da
Ok.
Udino.
Okay.
Vai.
Andiamo.
Come
Little do I know that I'll be riding in an ape, a tiny workhorse truck that is common in the Italian countryside. With a top speed of 20 miles per hour, we tear out of town and rejoin with our musicians and a group of dancers who are waiting in an olive grove. In the past, a gathering like this would be a highlight of rural life in the Salento.
Quindi tutti prendevano il proprio strumento, chi era più bravo suonava l'organetto, il violino, la chitarra o il tamburello e altri magari accompagnavano con piccole percussioni oppure con le mani. E in realtà mi piacerebbe tanto intendere questa cosa solo come passione. Non mi pesa, anzi è un regalo che io ho, è una fortuna che io ho, perché questa musica veramente è un grande dono. Ed è una passione che insomma, abbiamo nel sangue e che di cui non possiamo farne a meno.
Puglia is the place I come back to over and over to reconnect with some of the deepest traditions and warmest people in Italy. It's a place where the beauty isn't all on the surface, but the history often is. In Puglia, the olive trees are the kings, and the mamas are definitely the queens.